So following up from your last statement, so what are the steps after identifying it? Because identifying it is just one part. So what are some of the steps? Because, okay, I know, for example, now therapy can be, one of the steps, but in this part of the world, it's like, it's slowly becoming acceptable, but, there's still this, way people look at you when you talk about therapy. So, but generally speaking, what are some of the steps you can take, to heal from trauma?
It's important to seek for help because a therapist is someone who has been trained and is an expert in helping you even finding out or identifying that you had a traumatic situation that is causing a lot of or defining your life, because trauma can actually define your life if you don't work on it. So what a therapist does for you is to help you really identify, go back to the past, diagnose the cause, identify what it is, help you identify the emotions that you're expressing, and then help you or guide you to be able to heal through it and rise above it. So it's important that we seek for help, we seek for therapists, we look for therapists and get to work with them so that they can help us, because it's like an illness that is impacting your mind, just like you have a physical pain or you have a disease condition. It's the same thing with the mind, is impacting on your mind. And so you need someone who serves as a doctor that can help with your emotions, that can help with your mind, your psychology, and all of that. So, yes, look for a therapist, because sometimes you can't really do it. If you can do it alone, you can't really do it alone. Because if you can do it alone, you would have done it since. But you've not even been able to even identify that you had a traumatic situation that is impacting your life negatively. So, because we are having this conversation, you can go and reflect and ask yourself, are there things that have happened to me? There are obvious things that you can say, oh, these things can cause trauma in my life. So when you have those experiences that are distressing and have impacted your mind, impacted you psychologically and all of that, it's important to reflect and say, okay, how has this impacted me? How am I responding to it? How has it affected my relationship with other people, my relationship with life? And has it caused any damage so far? So because with that, you can now say, okay, I think I need to see a therapist. I think I need to see someone who can now help me heal through it. A therapist would definitely guide you. There are steps to healing and all of that. And that's something that a therapist will help you do. I'm not going to give you all of that now and here. So go and seek for help.
Okay. So now a question just popped into my mind, right? So based on the current situation of the world, what about some people that may not be able to afford to get a therapist? Because, getting a therapist is not free. Some people might even go and use ChatGPT as their therapist. So, but, what are some basic steps, some basic solutions, for those that can't afford to get to see a therapist at the moment?
Yeah, I understand that therapy can be expensive. And as for young people, you may not have the funds to see a therapist. For young people, one thing I'd say is, if you have someone who takes care of you at the moment, maybe your parents, and they can support, I think they would have a better understanding of why it's important to seek for help or, look for a therapist. I think the first thing to do would be to say, have a conversation with your parents, because sometimes some of the things that have happened to you in the past happened when you were under their watch.
Sure.
So healing starts from even just having a conversation. It could have even been them that caused it. It could have been the fact that they neglected certain areas. Maybe they decided to take you to keep you in your auntie's or your uncle's house, and then something happened there, and you've never had that conversation with them before. It could be the fact that you're still somehow these things happened based on the fact that they neglected something, or they were ignorant about something, or they didn't watch over you, something like that. Or it could be in the environment where you live and all. So it's important to have that conversation with your parents, and then also let them know that you need help because this is impacting you at the moment and it's not helping you. So they are good people to say, okay, we can fund, the services of a professional that can help. It's also important that you read books. There are lots of books that have been written about trauma, about overcoming certain things, experiences and all of that. Some people have shared their experiences by just going back into writing books to just share their experiences and how they overcame certain things. So I think it's important that you look for those books, look for those materials. YouTube as well can help. There are several materials on YouTube that can actually help you. Go online, search for things that can help you. I would also say don't act in denial, because a lot of times certain traumatic situations make us act in denial. Oh, this is not true. Oh, I'm not like this, or I am like, this is just who I am. So it's important to identify that situation that, you need help, and you're not denying the fact that you need help, or you're not denying the fact that this is who you are at the moment and you need to improve on yourself. Be committed to growth, be committed to healing. If there's anyone that you need to forgive, these are things that are within your control. Forgive them, because forgiveness helps with the healing process. If you don't forgive, it's hard to heal. If you don't forgive, it's hard to let go. If you don't forgive, it's hard to not let go of that hurt and that pain. So forgiveness is important. So as you forgive, you now begin to think about how you can even be emotionally more intelligent. Because if you're responding in anger, if you're responding in fear and anxiety, it means that there is something that you need to do to help calm your emotions when some of these triggers come. It's also important to leave an environment where those that trigger you. Leave relationships that trigger you. You could be in a relationship that is traumatic. Some people are in relationships that are abusive. Some people are in relationships that the person that you say you're in a relationship with is hurting you. Absolutely. And you are operating in fear, you're operating in PTSD, you're operating in so many different emotions. Leave that source of trigger. Leave that source of trauma, because that would help you. Leave that environment. It could even be where you're working, because some people, they work in a place that feels like hell, and it is causing a lot of trauma to them. Yeah. Leave that source of trigger. It's very important, because when you do, it helps with the healing process. And then, of course, with the help of a therapist, there are a lot of other things that can actually help you to be able to rise above it.
Yeah, thank you so much, Uncle Chris. And I think one thing too is sometimes it's actually yourself you have to forgive too, because some people blame themselves for certain events that happen.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Uncle Chris. So, lastly, is trauma a one-time thing? Like, does it just happen after one event, or can it be built over time through a series of events?
Yeah. So trauma can happen once. For instance, an accident can cause shock, can cause pain, can cause so many things. It would happen once, but then the impact lingers, and then there are situations where for someone who is always abused, it's a process. It's a different series of traumatic experiences that are accumulating and causing deeper level of pain and hurt and all of that. For some, it could just be a one-time experience. For some, it could be a consistent experience that happened over a period of time. So sometimes it could be one, sometimes it could be, multiple. So, yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Uncle Chris. So, I hope we've been able to share valuable insights on how to overcome trauma. And ultimately, it's important to seek a therapist. But if you can't afford that at the moment, please, go through the processes that have been suggested by Uncle Chris. I don't know about you guys, but it's just a blessing to have Uncle Chris with us. The insights, the knowledge shared, it's always impactful and amazing. So thank you so much, Uncle Chris. Okay, guys. So with that, we've come to the end of today's episode of 24 Cards Hangouts. Please do well to like, subscribe, and if this blessed you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with your community of friends. Share it to anybody that you know would benefit from it, and also turn on notifications so that you get notified whenever we post new content. And till we come your way next time. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone.